Welcome to the IPC's FYI series on statistical reporting to the IPC. Effective July 1, 2025, provincial institutions subject to the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act, or FIPPA, are required to submit an annual breach statistics report to the IPC. This video will provide helpful tips and guidance to help FIPPA institutions submit their annual breach statistics to the IPC. Let's begin. Here's what your FIPPA institution needs to know about the mandatory breach statistical report. The FIPPA breach statistical report includes the number of thefts, losses, or unauthorized uses or disclosures of personal information that met the real risk of serious harm, otherwise known as ROSH threshold, or met other prescribed circumstances and were reported to the IPC. Only breaches that met the ROSH threshold or met other prescribed circumstances and were reported to the IPC must be included in your annual report. Breaches that did not meet the reporting threshold are not included in your statistical report. If your institution experienced no breaches that met the ROSH threshold or prescribed circumstances and were reported to the IPC, you must still submit the report and report 0 breaches. The deadline to submit your annual breach statistical report is March 31st every year. The factors relevant to determining whether a breach creates a real risk of significant harm to affected individuals include the sensitivity of personal information involved, the probability that the personal information has been, is being, or will be misused, the availability of steps the individual could take to reduce the risk of the harm occurring or mitigate the harm should it occur. You can learn more about the ROSH threshold in the IPC's Responding to a Privacy Breach Guidelines for the Provincial Sector on our website. Let's now look at the online FIPPA Breaches Statistical Report. From the annual statistical reporting dashboard, you can click on the Before You Begin button for tips on how to complete your report. From the listing, click on the FIPPA Breaches Report to get started. In this annual statistical report, you must include all thefts, losses, unauthorized uses, or disclosures that you are required to report to the IPC. Section 1 of the report reflects your organization's contact information, automatically populated from the information you provided when registering your account. For additional information, click on the Introduction and Completing and Submitting Your Statistical Report buttons. Review your information in Section 1 and click Save and Continue. Section 2 of the report begins by asking if your FIPPA institution experienced a privacy breach. If your institution experienced no breaches that met the ROSH threshold or prescribed circumstances and were reported to the IPC, check the No box. This will take you to the end of the report, or you must click Submit to complete your submission. If your institution experienced one or more breaches that met the RROSH threshold or prescribed circumstances and were reported to the IPC, check the Yes box. Click Save and Continue. This will take you to Section 3 of your report, where you will be asked to enter the total number of privacy breach incidents that met the reporting threshold during the reporting year. The total entered under Section 3 is important because the total of all sections that follow must tie back to this section. Tip: do not count each incident more than once. If one incident includes more than one of the 4 breach categories, thefts, losses, unauthorized uses, or disclosures, choose the category that it best fits to avoid double counting. Once you have entered the total, click Save and Continue. Section 4. Breach Categories. Section 4 of the report asks you to enter incidents related to the first breach category, stolen personal information. You will be asked to enter the total number and further breakdown of breach incidents. You must complete all required fields marked with an asterisk, even if the number is 0. When you have completed this section, click Save and Continue. Moving to Section 5, you will be asked to enter incidents about the second breach category, lost personal information. You will be asked to enter the total number and further breakdown of breach incidents. Again, you are required to complete all fields marked with an asterisk, even if the number is 0. When you have finished with this section, click Save and Continue. This will take you to Section 6 of the report, which asks you to enter incidents related to the third breach category, used without authority. You will be asked to enter the total number and further breakdown of breach incidents. You must complete all required fields marked with an asterisk, even if the number is 0. When you have completed this section, click Save and Continue. Finally, Section 7 of the report, you will be asked to enter any incidents related to the fourth breach category, disclosed without authority. You will be asked to enter the total number and further breakdown of breach incidents. As in the previous sections, you must complete all required fields marked with an asterisk, even if the number is 0. When you have completed this section, click Save and Continue. For any of the previous 4 sections, 4, 5, 6, and 7, if you had 0 incidents under one or more breach category, simply enter 0. Then click Save and Continue to proceed to the next section. You will now be at the submission page. A reminder that the totals of sections 4 through 7 must equal the total number of privacy breach incidents you entered under section 3 of your report. Otherwise, you will receive error messages and will only be able to submit your report once the total in section 3 equals the sum of the total of all breach categories. Don't forget to check off the attestation box at the end of your report. This attestation confirms that all breaches listed in your report were reported to the IPC within a reasonable time of being discovered, as set out under FIPPA. Click the Submit button to submit your report. Once you click Submit, you will be taken to a summary screen where you can review your submission. You will also see that your report has been marked as Submitted. If corrections are needed, you can click on the Reopen for Editing button at the top and bottom of the screen. You can also print your report for your records by clicking on the Print Report button at the top right corner of your screen. You can now navigate to your annual statistical reporting dashboard, where you will see the FIPPA breach statistical report status has changed to Submitted. You don't have to complete your report in one sitting. You can save your work and return to complete your report later, as long as it is submitted by the March 31st deadline. The menu on the right-hand side will show you what sections you've completed thus far, marked by checked marks. Simply click on the section where you left off. You can also make corrections to your report after you submit any time before the March 31st deadline. Simply click on the Reopen for Editing button, and don't forget to click Submit at the end of your report to make sure your changes are saved. If you have questions, please visit our website to learn more about the new FIPPA breach statistical report. Our IPC stats team is also here to help. You can email us at statistics.ipc@ipc.on.ca. And don't forget to follow us on social media for updates.